Good evening, my Real News Midday TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for February 12, 2024. And in the news this evening, man shot during Machette attack on cops at a police station in Hanover. Two female cops had to flee for their lives when a man reportedly attacked them with a machete at the Lucy police station in Hanover on Monday morning. The man was later shot and injured after he also attempted to attack a sergeant, the police said. The injured man, whose name police have declined to release as he has not been charged, has since been hospitalized but is expected to be booked for the attacks. Information reaching the news indicated that around 8:40 a.m., a woman constable concluded her duty and left the police station. Upon reaching a short distance away, she was accosted by a man with a machete. The man reportedly ran towards her with the machete in his hand. She ran into the police station's guard room and screamed for assistance. The man reportedly followed her and approached another woman constable who was sitting at the front desk. That policewoman fled to an office at the station. The sergeant, who was on supervision duty, was walking along the roadway when he heard the commotion and approached the guard room. Upon reaching the guard room's entrance, he was reportedly met by the attacker, who had the machete in his right hand. The sergeant instructed the man to drop the machete, but he disobeyed. The man raised the weapon, advanced towards the sub-officer, and threatened to blood him up. The sergeant, in fear for his life, immediately pulled his service pistol and discharged 2 rounds in the direction of the man, who fell at the front of the station, clutching the machete. The machete was retrieved from him. It was observed that he was suffering from gunshot wounds to the upper body. He was rushed to the hospital and admitted in serious condition. None of the cops were hurt during the ordeal, the police said. Cocaine valued at US $70,000 seized in Manchester. That 2 people are under investigation following their arrest in connection with the seizure of 2.3 kilograms of cocaine in Mandeville, Manchester on Sunday. Police said about 7 p.m. a search of a motor car was conducted with 2 people on board, leading to the discovery of the cocaine hidden under the driver's seat. Police said the cocaine has an estimated street value of US $70,000. Police said the 2 suspects were placed under arrest on reasonable suspicion for breaches of the Dangerous Drugs Act, and their names are being withheld pending investigations. Policeman under probe for alleged assault of man in St. Elizabeth. A police sergeant attached to the Portmore Police is under investigation by the Independent Commission of Investigations following allegations that he used his service pistol to assault a man during a domestic dispute in St. Elizabeth on Sunday. He is also accused of discharging his weapon in the incident, which occurred in Flaggerman Square in the Pedro Plains area. The news was informed that the sergeant and the man got into an alleged confrontation about 12:45 a.m. It is alleged that the sergeant used his weapon to hit the man in the face several times, causing severe injury. Investigators say he also discharged 2 rounds from his weapon in a public space. The incident was reported to the St. Elizabeth police. The sergeant's weapon has since been seized by Indicom. Jail Peace Dean Jones and a businessman resolve a dispute after gun incident. Member of Parliament for St. Thomas Western James Robertson has confirmed that the dispute between Jamaica Labour Party candidate for the Trinityville division, Dean Jones, and the businessman Wayne Walker has been resolved. A picture with the 2 men shaking hands alongside Mr. Robertson and 2 other men has been making the rounds on social media. Speaking with the news on Monday morning, the Member of Parliament suggested that it is not clear what led to the February 5 fight between Mr. Jones and Mr. Walker, which was caught on camera. Whatever could possibly have taken place, if it did, it depends on who saw what. I can only tell you that the Walkers and I have been friends. Mr. Jones, Dean Jones, has met with Mr. Walker and his family up to Sunday afternoon, as you can see in the picture. And we go forward in St. Thomas in a very mature political manner, he declared. In the viral video, Mr. Jones could be seen brandishing his licensed firearm during the altercation. The St. Thomas police say they are continuing their investigation into the incident. Bedridden 80-year-old perishes in Westmoreland house fire. An 80-year-old woman deemed bedridden perished in a house fire in her community of Burnt Savannah, Westmoreland over the weekend. The deceased has been identified as Maris Kennedy. Reports from the Frome police indicate that around 8:45 p.m. on Saturday, Kennedy was left at home with a lit kerosene lamp. Later, residents informed a relative that the house was on fire. The news understands that the fire department was contacted and a cooling down operation was carried out. The scene was processed and the elderly woman's charred remains were found among the debris. Kennedy's death brings the number of elderly persons in Westmoreland who have died as a result of a house fire in recent times to 3. Investigations are ongoing. Omar Collymore murder trial begins in Home Circuit Court. The long-awaited murder trial of Omar Best Collymore, who allegedly contracted men to murder his wife, Simone Campbell Collymore 6 years ago, has started in the Home Circuit Court. Collymore is being tried along with his co-defendants Michael Adams, Dwayne Pink, and Shaquille Edwards. They are also being tried for the murder of taxi driver Winston Watson. The defendants are being tried for 2 counts each of murder and a count of conspiracy. A 7-member jury is now being empaneled before Justice Leighton Pusey. Another defendant, Kerry Jonas, was severed from the indictment and is to be tried for conspiracy in a separate matter. The 32-year-old businesswoman and the 36-year-old taxi operator were gunned down on Stanley Terrace in Red Hills, St. Andrew on January 2, 2018. Collymore is alleged to have orchestrated his wife's murder and was at home at the time of the murder. The victims were shot and killed when they arrived at the gate of the apartment building where Campbell Collymore lived. They were shot by 2 pillion passengers who were traveling on motorbikes. Campbell Collymore, who was reportedly shot 21 times, and Walters both died on the spot. A day before Campbell Collymore's funeral, her widower was stopped at the Norman Manley International Airport in Kingston as he attempted to leave the island. One of Collymore's co-accused, Wade Blackwood, who was one of the shooters in the incident, was sentenced on March 11, 2021 to 2 life sentences on 2 counts of murder and 8.5 years for illegal possession of a firearm. The sentences will run concurrently and he will be eligible for parole after serving 35 years. Man convicted of fatal stabbing 12 years after being charged. 12 years after he was charged with fatally stabbing a St. Mary man to death inside the Ocherius Market in St. Anne, a man was on Thursday convicted of the crime in the St. Anne Circuit Court. The convict, Peter Wilson, was found guilty of murdering the man, who was only identified by his alias Jackie. A 7-member jury deliberated for approximately 30 minutes before handing down the guilty verdict. Wilson is to be sentenced by High Court Judge Justice Andrew Pettigrew Collins this week. He was remanded in custody until the sentencing date. A social inquiry report and an antecedent report have been ordered for the convict ahead of the sentencing. Reports are that sometime after 11 p.m. on January 9, 2012, Wilson and Jackie got into a heated argument inside the market. A witness testified that he saw Wilson chasing Jackie inside the market, with the latter falling to the ground and being stabbed repeatedly by Wilson. The witness said Jackie ran but later collapsed to the ground. He was transported to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. Wilson was subsequently arrested and charged. He was on bail for several years but was taken back into custody throughout the duration of the trial. Concern raised about a shortage of guidance counselors in schools. The Jamaica Association of Guidance Counselors in Education says that there are schools in rural areas without guidance counselors at a time when more students are presenting with problems that require their intervention. Newly installed president of the Region 1 chapter of the association, Denise Reed, says she is to meet with the head of the guidance and the counseling unit in the Ministry of Education to discuss the matter. Noting that the shortage of counselors is not new, Ms. Reed, who is the guidance counselor at Mavis Bank High, said the problem is more evident because more students are in need of assistance. She lamented that not enough attention is being given to each student.
The things that that you do as a counselor, especially for my school, I have only myself as a counselor there. When it's time for me to do something else and there is a challenge with another student, I have to leave what I am doing to attend to it. So I believe that all schools should have at least 2 guidance counselors, even if the school population is small. Because when the guidance counselor is doing something else might crops up and you have to deal with the situation. However, we are dealing with that. My concern is for the schools that are without at this time. I know the ministry have taken on a mandate to actually educate the parents in the schools, and they are funding it. However, the parents that we really want to reach, they are not coming out. What I believe the ministry can do is to sanction those parents that are not coming out. Yes, we have been having our workshops, we have having our seminars, but the parents that are coming are the ones that we don't really want to see. The ones that we want to see, they are not coming out. How can we get them to come out?